Thank you for joining us. I'm Michael Miller, and special guest today is Rabbi Ari Werbler. Thank you very much, Rabbi, for being here.
It's an honor. Thank you
Right.
for having me.
So we just had a big holiday recently. Tell us about that, and when is the next holiday? Because I live for that nowadays.
Okay, good thing is we don't have to wait too long. Every day we say is a holiday because, people say they take a vacation. I heard in England they say we take holiday because you can make every day a holy day. Every
There you
day is
go.
the opportunity, and we're here today. That it's a great opportunity for me. From Passover, it's like it's a birth of a people, our people, and it's a message to the world that we have many challenges in life, but just like the sea splits, we can go through them all. And sometimes it comes from an impetus from above. So now we're working towards Shvot, which is the giving of the Torah. And each day we count. And the word for counting is also the word to sapphire, like a sapphire stone, that each of us shine. Once we've been given an inspiration, like a child is given everything they need, then you use that potential every day to build towards your full potential.
Let's talk about Friday night services. All
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
tell people what the name of it and the significance of it.
Well, it's called Kabbalah Shabbat. We receive the Shabbat. The Shabbos is the word like shevet, to rest. It's interesting. How do I receive rest? Seemingly, rest is something that should be programmed into my being. But because actually most of our week, we're here to make a dwelling, a home for the divine in this world. So on Shabbat, we kind of say, let our work be complete for this day. Let us receive what we've put in for the week before, and then bless the week to come. So Shabbos is a real great chance to be together, be present with each other, with what we've accomplished and what we're moving towards.
So tell us about the service itself, which I find to be very connecting for me, which is relatively new for me.
So Friday night, we usually have Kabbalah Shabbos service, which is usually accompanied with singing and song. And says the best song is the song of the soul, right? That we get to connect to ourselves and the people with us in a sense of cooperation and, so to say, commencement of a day that we all participate in. So first, we usually have, again, some songs, and it builds to the Shema, which is a prayer that we know that's like kind of a soul's serenade to itself, almost. It says, Shema Yisrael, listen, me, this divine spark that's within all of us and in the whole world is unique to me. And then therefore we could welcome the Shabbat together, and we see all of our sparks coming together on the Shabbos evening. And then we commence it with a meal. We don't take the spiritual and separate it from the material. That's the beauty of I think what we can integrate into our lives and for the whole world.
And there are some folks that are Jewish that come Friday at sundown. There's certain things that they don't do until Saturday at sundown. What are some of those things, and why is that?
So the idea is that we kind of disconnect to reconnect, that throughout the week, again, like I said, we're building what's called a mishkan. We're making this world a holy home. And on Shabbos, we have the chance. Now, people usually have this confusion that what it means not to work is that I'm not going to do any laborers, but it's actually easier, so to say, to flip on a light than it is to move a table. But the idea is to be creative, that we are co-creators throughout our week. That's what we're meant to do. And on Shabbos, it's so to say that our creative work is done. So it's an opportunity to reflect, and it's actually a lot more telling and opportunistic for ourselves to take a step back from our creative role and to receive, like we said, Kabbalah Shabbos.
So frequently, you're not supposed to turn the lights off or drive in a car. Do I have that correct?
So there's
and a few other things.
Yeah. So there's 39 categories of malacha that are really of work that are associated with the building of the tabernacle. The portable sanctuary that we went through the desert, each one of us represents this portable sanctuary. Each one of us are these living representations of the divine presence. So on Shabbos, we say, we're here, we're in our divine sanctuary. Let's take a moment to appreciate that. Let's take 24 hours, an island in time, to do that.
And so it's a pause.
Yeah, a purposeful pause.
Yes.
Yes.
So recently you moved sort of back to Miami because you'd been here when you got your graduate degree from the University of Miami, and you started a Chabad, if you will. Tell us where that is, and tell us the name of it and some of the things that you're now providing.
Sure. So we're Chabad of Southwest Miami. We're on 103rd Court. It's in between 102nd and 107th Street on Miller Drive, off of Miller Drive. Thankful to have the Millers on Miller Landing, Miller Drive, Miller Country.
And actually, that's the name of your complex.
That's right.
Your area,
That's
Miller's Landing.
He said this week we learned that everything we hear and see is by divine providence. We don't plan anything. So yeah, we obviously Passover. We had 2 seders, we had meals, we had matzah distributed, roast to make sure everybody was well fed. But obviously spiritually, we had inspirational sharings. And weekly, we have our Shabbat meals as well as available classes. We're coming up actually on Lag BaOmer last week. I mentioned Shavuos, but right before that, we have Lag BaOmer. Lag BaOmer is the day that the Reb Shimon Bar Yochai, a great sage who introduced us to some of the deepest levels of Kabbalah, passed away. But he said it's Hayom HaHalula. It's a wedding day. It should be a celebration day. And the idea is that being united with our source is a celebration. But he left the fire of his soul with us, which is a lot of the deep teachings we have today. So we're going to have a barbecue Thursday night. And there should be mailers going out to that. You could check Chabad swmiami.org to find out about that event.
Is your picture on it?
Is my picture on the flyer?
On the website.
On the website, yeah, somewhere.
Okay, so folks, when you see his picture, you're at the right place. Let's talk about how people donate and to give. We frequently hear, well, the finest way to give is anonymously, but yet we see people in all sorts of levels giving publicly for a lot of reasons, including maybe if I'll do it, somebody else will do it. And because if it's not something that's popularized, it's a little harder to do it. On the other hand, if everybody's giving, it's a little bit easier. So tell us about the concept of giving.
I think there's been different situations where somebody came to the Lubavitcher Rebbe and he said, I don't want to give publicly because I'm afraid it's going to make me feel arrogant, feel special. He goes, if you're going to do it that way and it's going to give you a sense of pride or something, so to say, and like you said, it also will influence others to do it, better to do it publicly than to not do it at all. And if you do it for those reasons, it says, lo lishma ba lishma, you'll come to the right reason, that I'm doing it for less selfish reasons and more selfless reasons. So there certainly is a level of significance to doing things privately because it allows you, so to say, the modesty to sell that, oh, look at what I did kind of thing. I was just reading recently about the story of Goliath and David. Goliath was very, very confident, so to say, in one regards, but he was a little bit narcissistic, right? Like, who's going to defeat me? But David had the same, King David, when he was just a shepherd at the time, had the same kind of confidence. But his confidence wasn't based on, look at me, what I'm going to do. I have a mission here. And listen, I fought bears, I fought lions. If I need to serve, I'm confident that I'm going to be able to succeed. So if your giving is going to come from a place where, hey, this is a resource I've been given, and it doesn't necessarily mean monetarily. We all have something to give. Talk about Lag BaOmer, the idea of each of us having a fire. We've spoken about this before. Our wattage expands, right? You've shared with me your insight on that. In our ability to influence in so many different ways, so many resources on a television program, and that if we have the ability to give, and it's going to encourage people, the giving itself will, almost like behavioral therapy, will affect my inner being and lead me to do it more selflessly as well.
And we know in most high schools, you have to have a certain number of community hours, typically for not-for-profit, where the kids can learn, from that. Not too long ago, I was at a local restaurant, and I saw a group of firemen. And I said, I'm going to pay for their lunch. So the waitresses weren't coming over to me, so I walked over they were over in a corner, and I said, please, they were mostly, didn't speak English, but enough to order. And I said, please don't point, but there's a group of firemen that are about 20 feet behind me. I would like to pay for their meal. So she didn't understand, so she brought over 2 other people who then started pointing at the people. I've got, it's ruined, right? So I pay for it. By the time I get back to my office, they had already called my brother, would you thank your brother for paying for our lunch? That wasn't the purpose of it. But it's like, okay, I'll take it, all right? But because I was giving because I wanted to, that it was a good thing. It was not quite anonymous, but pretty close to it. One of the things we used to also do at the toll plazas, you'd put the money in the thing, pay for the car behind. At McDonald's, I frequently do that now, right? Because it's really neat to do it. And it's like, that's very cool to be able to do it. And when somebody, a couple times, paid for something, I had no idea who it was. It was such a tremendous feeling, right? That somebody would pay for my meal. And the first time that happened, I was taking a personal growth seminar, and they were talking about giving anonymously. So as soon as they get out of the class, it happened. I said, that is a wonderful feeling to be able to do that. And you can call it, depending on where you're at, you can call it selfish, right? Because you feel good from it. But no, man, it feels good to be able to do that.
Just think about the amount of things that are out there that people are publicizing and using media and marketing to promote things that are not necessarily in the giving realm of things. Why not use, this was the Rebbe's approach, use marketing to promote good things? Mm-hmm. It'll create more of an energy behind this, like whole campaign of giving, basically.
So one of the things, Grant and I grew up that we were always give.
Yes.
Right? And it took me a long time to be able to receive, to allow somebody else to feel as I felt in giving. Hurricane Andrew 30 years ago, our house gets destroyed. People started giving him a lot of stuff, money, toiletries, clothes, and our house was destroyed. And I remember crying with my wife. I said, what did we ever do to deserve this? It was so significant for me because I realized that I haven't allowed that to happen in my life, to be able to receive from other people. About 6 months ago, I was walking through our building here, and I said, what did I do to deserve all of this? And I said to myself, this time I didn't answer, because you're a good person. It was so significant for me. And then I realized that Grant and I are in the giving business. That's what we do. We've always done that by virtue of our publications and what we do. We run stories on people. We do shows like this. And so what I hope people get is be able to give and to allow to receive. Because when we don't let people give to us, we're denying that what brings us so much pleasure. So in your profession, very giving, right? It's pretty much your whole life in doing that. When did you decide to become a rabbi and to devote your time to doing this?
I don't think it was a one-step process. It was obviously each one of our lives is, I think, a story unfolding. So as you mentioned about you and your brother, I'm going to help you to keep something anonymous that I heard just this week about your giving, which I could share with you later, which really inspired me. Who through your giving actually helped somebody who now helps us greatly. So I'm appreciative to that. I think there's a calling of the soul and how we choose to give. You mentioned about being a good receiver. That's an important lesson too, because one of the things it says in the Talmud is that somebody shouldn't really look for gifts. And I think that's sometimes the feeling that you have, like, what did I do to deserve this, that I'm getting all these things show up at my door? Like, did I do something wrong or that I'm needing on these people? The idea of receiving is not necessarily that I'm needy, but that we are all, so to say, codependent on each other. It's an interdependence, not a codependence, I would say. And that's an important lesson to know. That's liberating, actually, to recognize that we all need each other. I think from a very early age, I was inspired to be in a outgoing role. You could ask my mom for more details, but finding the place to do that was always, that's and still day to day we like I said, this time's called Spheres Aimer. We count each day, we make each day shine. How today am I going to give? It's not so much defined by the title rabbi. Labels are for t-shirts. Each day we have a unique opportunity to give that only this day has meant and needs to shine. Each one of us are light. So each day I wake up thinking the same thing you do, maybe in some ways. What's my way to operate today?
We have less than a minute left.
Yeah.
Would you like to do a prayer and then we'll sign off?
We could do like a fill in here if you want.
Not today, but go ahead.
Well, the prayer, I guess, is that as we approach this time of individual counting, I think it's important for us to each of us know our individual worth. And I think why we miss that sometimes is a sense of self negation or self-awareness that we're not enough, which is by nobody's fault. It's kind of an internal, they say, the tree of knowledge. What we came to know is a little bit too much about ourselves sometimes. So I guess the blessing that I give to everybody, this is a prayer, but a blessing, that we should see our individual worth and that each one of us has something to share and shine with. And with that, we will complete this world and liberate it with the ultimate redemption. May it happen immediately.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Rabbi Ari Werbler, thank you very much for joining us. And Amber, thanks you for doing the show. Remember, folks, take care of yourselves and your family. Have a great day.